Okay, take two. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hey mommies, this is Michou. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my experience as a premature baby's parent. So if you're interested in that, then please keep on watching. Yeah, let's just define premature first. Premature is any baby that's born at 36 weeks or prior. So any baby that's not full term at 40 weeks, they are called premature. Right now, and we can look at the dictionary. The dictionary says a premature birth is a birth that takes place more than 3 weeks before the baby's estimated due date. In other words, a premature birth is one that occurs before the start of 37th week of pregnancy. Very preterm, born at less than 32 weeks of pregnancy. So there's a very preterm and there is premature. And my daughter is premature. So that's pretty much what the doctor explained to us when we changed doctors. Because if you guys watch my previous videos, you'll know this. But at my 30 weeks checkup, they just found out that the baby wasn't growing. So I had to go through the stress test and everything like that. The ultrasound every week and things like that. So after the stress test, as I had to change doctor. I had to change like a specialist or like an upgraded doctor just because of my situation. They pretty much said that the placenta was not connected to my uterus. I don't know. Something is not connected to something and they don't know what the reason why. So they know that the baby would be born a little bit earlier than 40 weeks. She kind of said like hopefully at 37 weeks she'll be born, so that's like full term. But we weren't sure, so we knew she was gonna be born early, but not 34 weeks. At 34 weeks it's a little earlier. Anyways, so yeah, she was born at 34 weeks and 4 days. I knew that giving birth at that time, I knew that she wouldn't be going home with us, but I didn't know that she would be staying home for that long. Anyways, so she was born at 3 pounds and 15 ounces, so she was very tiny. Almost 4 pounds, but she was very tiny. She when she was born, she could breathe on her own, so she didn't really have much, issues on that thing, because a lot of preemies, they are not able to breathe on their own yet, and they need the oxygen and stuff. Like because she was so little, she had to stay in the hospital to gain some weight and make sure that she can hold temperatures and things like that, like regular babies, right? So that's why she had to stay at the hospital. She stayed at the NICU or the NICU, what you call it. The hospital we were at, it was special for children, women and children, the Kapilani here in Hawaii. So they knew what they were doing. It's what they do every day. You know what I mean? Like they only take care of women and children. So when she was born, she had to go to the NICU. So when I wanted to see her, or wanted to feed her, or wanted to bond, I had to go to the NICU. My husband had to push me there, or the nurse had to push me there at first, and then we had to walk there until I went home, and then we went there every single day to see her. They had a specific feeding time, like every 3 hours, I believe it was. Anyways, so when I was still in the hospital, it was easy because I just went downstairs to see her. But then when we left the hospital, we had to take a lift every single day to go see her. I mean, I didn't mind because I needed to see my baby. And sometimes I have colds because hospitals are so freezing that sometimes I didn't go. But I still, send my husband there and bring my milk. Anyways, let's start from the beginning. So when she was born, she could breathe on her own, but she still had to gain some weight. She was in ICU they did all the baby tests on her. You know, they had to insert the whatever IV on her so that she could feed at first, because obviously I couldn't feed her. And also my milk didn't come in on time, obviously, because, well, she was early. So when I went to see her, we just put her on my breast, but nothing came out, and she didn't know what to do at first. You know, we had lactation specialists helping us. So every single time I go there, there's a lactation specialist. There's 3 ladies, so one of them come. We already scheduled that, so they helped me, you know, show her how to feed and stuff, and they already know how to handle the baby, because I had no idea. She was so little, I was so scared. And then after that, I had to, you know, pump. They showed me how to pump. Those lactation specialists showed me how to pump, and then they gave me a pump to bring home until I got my own, which was free from my insurance. And then, yeah, that was that. So yeah, every single time we had to go and see her. I stayed for like a couple feeding, and then we eat at the hospital, and then my husband goes to work, and I go back to see her again and saying bye, and then I leave. That was our you know, our weeks. I will let you know how many weeks she stayed, because it depends. It all depends. Okay, not all preemie babies stay at the hospital for that long or that short amount of time. Some people stay longer. Some people's baby were still at the NICU when he was 6 months old. So yeah, so when I was at the hospital, we did the kangaroo skin to skin treatment. They call it, some people call it the golden hour, I'm not too sure. It actually helps baby to grow a lot faster, and because it's like that skin to skin, heart to heart thing, it's like it makes them feel like they're still in the womb. So at first, when she was in the NICU, she was still on the warming bed, so she was just wearing diapers. The warming bed is warm, so it keeps her warm. And we could touch her, we could, you know, pick her up and bring her to us and stuff like that. And then Sunday morning also, and then that's when they started like, okay, I'm leaving the hospital that day, so we made a schedule that every day at 12 o'clock, that's her 3rd feeding time, I believe, I'll come, and then we will try and feed her, you know. I didn't have any milk yet, so I was trying to pump at home, trying to pump at the hospital, and trying to breastfeed her. You know, they told me to, you know, watch her while I pump at the hospital. They helped me, you know, help my hormone, whatever, you know. But it was hard for me. And at home, you know, I had to eat chicken soup, papaya chicken soup. My mom made me things like that to help out. They already did the test on her, on the jaundice test on her Saturday night, and then they put her inside the blue light Sunday. So she was having the blue light treatment Sunday, and so we couldn't take her out for too long. She had to stay under the light for a specific amount of time, and we just had our hand like going through the little hole to like hold her and stuff. They just taped like a little glasses on her, and so her entire body would be under the blue light treatment, but her eyes would be like covered just in case she opens her eyes. She wouldn't, because the glasses were like shut on her eyes, and they had like some sort of tape here. That's another story, but anyways, so she went through that. Not every preemie babies go through that, I don't think, but my baby went through it. I started making milk, I think on Monday or Tuesday. I started making some drips, so I just gave them whatever I had. I think it's Monday. It was Monday. And they moved her from the NICU to the nursery, and she was still under the blue light treatment, but the nursery was more claustrophobic. There was not much space, and in the nursery there was like another baby that has been there for a while, and she looked so tiny, and her parents don't come as often, I guess, because they have to work and pay for her bill. I don't know. Okay, so after like I think Tuesday, she was off the blue light treatment, and then the nurse, this is just parentheses, okay, the nurse, she just peeled off the band-aid off her face like it was nothing, and she was squeaking, my poor baby, and there was like a bald spot on her face for a little while because of that. Anyways, they were still they asked us permission if they could feed her, you know, formula, since they want to start feeding her more formula and less IV, and you know, me breastfeeding her as well. And I mean, we obviously want her to be fed and gain some weight, so we said yes. So she was on formula and she was on my breast milk, but it was so hard, you guys. Like, I literally, like, the most I ever had for like both my breasts was like 1 ounce, and that's it, or 1.5 ounce for like the most I have for the whole time I was pumping. So it wasn't easy. It was a little depressing, but you know. Okay, so then thank God we had formula. They always have this system when you first get there, you have to wash your hand first, and that's anyone that's dealing with a baby, you always have to wash your hands first. So you wash your hand and then you sit down. There's a system too, a security system, where you call in like, this is I'm here for baby this, and this is mom, or this is dad, or this is dad and mom, and then they let you in. That's the buzzing system. And you have like a wristband where you can scan your wristband too to get through the first door, but there's still another security, the phone security. And then you wash your hands. That's both the nursery and the NICU. You have to have the hand thing. You have to buzz in. You have to wash your hand, and you sit down. They always update us. Even if I don't go there, they call my phone and leave a message telling me what they did today. They did some vaccine. They did some scan, like a x-ray scan thing. They thought that she has the murmur on her heart because it sounded like it, but when they did the scan, her heart looks normal, so she was good on that. And no more jaundice either, because she did the blue treatment. She passed her visual and hearing test, so what really right now is her gaining weight, and it was hard, you guys. Like 1.5 weeks passed by, and she changed to another doctor because the other doctor went on vacation. So another pediatrician started talking to us, and this guy is the guy that took care of her for the rest of her stay. He told us that it's a good news, she's doing very good, she's eating well, so she probably will be going home by the end of the week, which is by week number 2. So we were like so excited, like, oh my god, she's coming home already. The funny thing is we still haven't gotten the crib yet. But I mean, she could still sleep with us, which she did later on. Anyways, but yeah, we were so excited, like, okay, she could come home already, we don't have to go here every single day. You know, it's stressful. Like, it's not that we have to go to the hospital every single day that it was stressful, it's the fact that we want her home. You know. Sorry guys, I have a cold, so the next day the doctor said, oh no, she cannot go home yet because she stopped eating. And I'm like, what? You said that she could come home? And she's like, no, she needs to gain certain weight, and we have to make sure she can eat. She was on the warming table first, and then she was inside the blue thing, the blue light, and then she was in a bassinet. So in a bassinet means that she doesn't need a warming bed anymore, but they put her in clothes, you guys. She was so cute. So apparently some parents, like, or organization or whatever, donate preemie clothes for babies at the NICU to use. So she was wearing clothes. She was so cute. So she was wearing clothes, so that means she could, hold temperatures already. So she was doing so good. It's just about the eating part at the end of 2 weeks. So I got discouraged because some of my friends, her baby was born at 32 weeks actually, so earlier than Rina Bella, but her baby could go home after 2 weeks. And every single day was so hard, you guys. Like, I was just praying, like, God, please let her go home. I hold her in my arm, and I just wish she was going home with me. But after 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, the lactation specialist didn't come anymore, because I pretty much knew what to do already, and I knew how to hold her, like hold her head and hold her diaper and things like that. Like, I knew what to do, so they didn't really have to come anymore. And I had to deal with, like, the different nurses. Like, some nurses are so bossy, some nurses don't really care about her. They didn't even know if we left, or if we like, they didn't even see us coming in. Some nurse, like, lie, like, she get like a diaper rash, and she was like, oh, that's from us, why constantly wipe her butt. Like, I just got here. Do you think it's from me, or it's from you? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the lactation specialist make us fill in a log, like, when we breastfeed, when we pump, and we have to, like, put, like, label on the bottle, like, this is at 1 o'clock, this is at 3 o'clock, this is at 7 o'clock, you know what I mean? So sometimes I don't want to wake up to pump. So sometimes I got busted for that, but I do what I can. So yeah, Rina Bella was pretty much used to the bottle. Like, as soon as she got home, she wouldn't want to breastfeed anymore. It was so hard to, like, try to breastfeed her. My mom came to the hospital a couple times when the specialist was helping me, and so she was trying to help me at home, and it was like, it was never the same as, like, at the hospital. It was so hard to breastfeed her. So anyway, they change nurses every single day, and there's morning shift and night shift. So by the end of, like, 2.5 weeks, I started calling, like, how she's doing at night, for the night shift nurse, and like, or is she feeding well, whatever. They give her a bath at night too, and things like that. So I double check how she's doing, and she's getting better. So because she stopped feeding at 2 weeks, they insert, I think it's called gavage, where they insert a tube through her nose down through her her neck and her stomach to feed her. So they press the food through that, and they make it bigger and bigger slowly. And some nurse, they're just so impatient, where they, like, when it's a little bit left, they just push it, like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's small things like that, and you're a new mom, and you have to go through all of that. But yeah, they kind of, like, hang the tube on a wall so that it drips through her. That's how they feed her, like every 3 hours, like I said. It was still, they offered the bottle first, but when she doesn't want to take the bottle, then they have to do it. When I come, I offer to breastfeed first, so I breastfeed her first, and then they like, oh, did she take any, did she breastfeed at all? If not, then they have to do the gavage, and I have to do it. And there was a time where me and my mom had to do it. There's a time when she wouldn't breastfeed, so we gave her the bottle after the gavage. There's a time when we just gave her the bottle without the gavage at all, and she started taking the bottle. Like, there was lots and lots of prayers, you guys, that was going on there.